So, very good afternoon. Today, I'm really privileged to interview one of my senior colleagues, a distinguished pediatric surgeon, an extraordinary surgeon, I would say, a surgeon par excellence, a fantastic teacher who has over 100 presentations all over the world and who has more than 25 publications nationally as well as internationally. And by his sheer hard work and perseverance, he has reached to the pinnacle of the Armed Forces Medical Services now to become the Director General. And lately, he has been awarded with one of the most prestigious medal by none other than the President of India, the Param Vishisht Seva Medal. It's my privilege and honor to interview and to talk with Dr. Bipin Puri. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us your valuable time for us. So, first and the foremost, I mean, now that you've become Director General of the Armed Forces Medical Services, so just curious to know, I mean, it comes with so much of administrative responsibilities. Do you still get time to operate?
Yeah, it's a tightrope walk really because the duties, the responsibilities for the routine official engagements keeps you occupied most of the days.
Right.
But on Saturdays and Sundays, which is off for us in the headquarters, that's the time I actually fall back to the hospital and go through the academic sessions. And in case there is some operative work, I look forward to in case I possibly can.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So, what's been your area of interest? Like, what the surgeries you love to do?
Actually the entire mill really, so to say, because for pediatric surgeons repertoire, uh, be it GI, be it pediatric urology. I've been very fond of doing pediatric urology procedures. In fact, I did a fellowship in pediatric urology from Birmingham Children's Hospital, and but um, the NUS procedure for pectus excavatum is something which I have really enjoyed doing. In fact, I was the first person in the country to start doing NUS procedure for pectus excavatum, and it's been a pleasure doing this procedure because not for any this thing, because the results are so dramatic and magical that it and is very satisfying.
That's great. That's great. So, tell us something about, I mean, how are the medical services at the borders or the war front? I mean, just curious to know.
Well, you see, medical care in the battlefront is a different kettle of fish. Let me say this.
Right.
When the hot battle is on, um, what happens is that when we have casualties,
Right.
there are two strategies that we normally work in.
Okay.
One is called as stay and play. What does it mean? It means that your casualties are there with you,
Right.
and you hold on and you look after them to the best of your capability. The second strategy is scoop and run,
Okay.
which means you put them on a stretcher and do a casualty evacuation rearwards as early as possible. So now, which strategy one takes is based on the operational strategy of the commanders, which means that in case there is, we don't have air superiority, or we are in an offensive operation, then you can't really do any CAS-evac. But you can do a CAS-evac only in case there is a lull where you can allow casualties to be, evacuated rearwards. So those are the situations. And what we do in the battlefront really is damage control surgery, damage control resuscitation, and damage control orthopedics. Bare minimum for life and limb salvage based on the triage of the patient. So I think that's really. Also remember that in the battlefront, it's a very resource constrained environment.
Oh, yeah, I can understand.
and so there you don't have everything available. You don't have the paraphernalia, and therefore becomes it's you are actually
limited resources. You have to give the
absolutely,
maximum. Right?
absolutely.
So any vivid experience, any vivid story you remember, in the battlefront you faced or your colleagues faced, any interesting.
You see, we most of
Because what
us,
I understand is that at the front, you are the people who hold fort. Not only for the men in uniform, but also I guess for the civilian population, you are the people who look after them also.
yeah. You see, most of us haven't seen wars during our lifetime, but what we've been seeing is
Guerrilla wars.
low intensity conflicts in Jammu and Kashmir. I'll give you a small incident. What happened was that I was in charge of the medical operations in Jammu and Kashmir a few years ago, and what happened was that there were some terrorists came in a location near Srinagar, and the army surrounded the terrorists, but the terrorists were not giving up, and there was intense firing coming from the terrorists. And it was the peak of winters. It was snowing, and it was difficult to engage the terrorists because holding a firearm is not simple, especially when it's snowing, and because they're wearing their clothing, those gloves that you wear in winter clothing. So firing also becomes a little problem. So at that point of time, the commanders passed instructions to the troops: take off your gloves and aim and shoot. So all the troops which were around that place, they took off their gloves and did a pointed target shooting and managed to kill all the terrorists. But what happened was, as a result of taking off their gloves, about 5 of them developed gangrene of both hands. Both hands, this thing, and they were, of course, moved to the Srinagar hospital, and that's the place where I was asked by the army commander to come in and have a look. And we moved all of 5 of them next morning to Army Hospital, Delhi, Cant Research and Referral for further care. But the point which I'm trying to make is that it's not only the terrain, it's not only the conflict, it's sometimes the weather. Weather itself very hostile, and that adds to the challenge of the entire operations. Yeah, yeah,
Really proud of people and what they do in the army. So you also must have had some idea about how medical facilities are in outside. So just want to have some comparison of what medical facilities are like in armed forces vis-a-vis civilian hospitals. Can you throw some light on that?
You see, medical facilities in armed forces hospitals, we classify them. We have peripheral hospitals, which are small hospitals, which provide basic care. And as you come more centripetally or towards the metros, we get bigger hospitals, what we call as subzonal hospitals, zonal hospitals, and then the command hospitals. Now, these are the peripheral hospitals are less than 200 bedded hospitals. The subzonal are around 300 bedded hospitals. Zonal hospitals are around 400 to 500 bedded hospitals. And here at the command hospitals, they are about nearly 1,000 bedded hospitals. Now,
how many command hospitals we have?
We have 7 command hospitals. Now, it is the command hospitals which are the super specialty tertiary care setups where aims setting where they have all infrastructure, they have all the super specialties available, and which are actually the terminal referral hospitals in this entire axis. So, whereas the zonal and the subzonal and the peripheral hospitals are providing only basic care, basic specialties. They have like medicine, surgery, anesthesia, gynae, pediatrics, orthopedics. But to that extent, there won't be super specialty care. So that's where
people who require that, they'll be subsequently
referred to the command hospitals. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
So let us come to some personal things, if you don't mind. So what are your hobbies? Like, what do you do in your free time? Like in weekends, vacations? What do you love to do?
Oh, I'm an avid. I love going out sightseeing, and
Okay, great.
so a lot of sightseeing as much as I possibly can.
Okay.
Um, I have been very fond of racket games.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I've been playing a lot of racket games all along my career.
Okay.
Has come down. Recently, I've picked up golf, and whenever I get a chance, I go and play a game of golf. So that's
So that keeps one rejuvenated,
absolute,
right? So
absolutely,
battery charged, I mean, for the
absolutely,
evening.
absolutely.
That's good. Yeah. So tell us something about your family, your kids. I mean, are they also doctors or from went into army
No,
or
no.
what?
My unfortunately, none of my children. I have got two children.
Okay.
The elder is a daughter.
Okay.
Both are engineers
Okay.
and
Combat right.
and done their MBAs.
Okay.
And um, um, uh, the elder daughter, she is gainfully employed at Pune.
Okay.
And my younger one, who's also an IT professional, is now doing his MBA in business analytics from Chandigarh.
Okay.
So my wife is a doctorate in psychology, and she
Okay.
is working as a counselor for the DLF Foundation here in Delhi.
Okay.
Yeah. So
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 was your father also from army? No.
no,
No.
no,
Nothing.
we
So
have we. I don't have any army
army
background.
background. So
No.
why? I mean, why did you join our army? I mean,
Oh, it was just at the time at our
just intrigued to know that. I mean,
yeah, it was just a matter of chance that there was, of course, this the love and passion for wearing the uniform. Of
right.
course, that was always there. And
Yeah.
then at the time when I finished my +2 and I appeared for these various entrance examinations, I got through CPMT, I
Okay.
got through Vellore, and I got through AFMC.
Oh, that's
And
fantastic.
and
So
then
you had all the
I
choices.
had the choice of CPM, UP colleges, Vellore, and AFMC. I went in for AFMC. So
You've
that's
been a bright student. I mean,
no, I've been hardworking. I've been
yeah.
yeah, I have devoted a fair amount of my
The very fact that you are director
yeah,
general that shows, of
yeah,
course, you've been gradually
yeah,
migrated to
yeah.
that and
Thank you very
sheer
much. Yeah,
hard work and
yeah,
perseverance that has
absolutely.
to that place. Sir, when do you retire from this thing? I mean,
Another two
what,
months.
another 2 months, so
Two
that's
months.
very near. So, have you any plans post retirement? What will you do? Then you will have now more time with your.
Well, I have now um, uh, floated my CV to
Okay,
various institutions now. So let's
okay,
see how it goes. I'll take it as it comes.
okay,
Yeah. So I'm just waiting now because still I have 2 months to go. So let's see how it goes.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
So, any vivid, nice, fondest memory of your whole career? I mean, especially in army, you remember if you want to share with us.
Well, let me say this that in the career graph of um, um, officer in the Indian Army, there can be nothing more satisfying than occupying the highest chair
That's
and
absolutely
and taking in the reins of the entire organization.
that's
And
well said, sir.
let me say this that it was a matter of great pride uh, sitting on this chair and a sense of responsibility for the entire armed forces, be it the Army, Navy, or Air Force, as far as the medical services is concerned. It's a huge responsibility. We have continued to provide exemplary medical care, besides, of course, training of doctors, paramedics, nurses, dentists,
Right.
doing research and collaboration with various organizations. So it's been a very diverse spectrum
True,
of
true,
activities.
true.
So for me, on a personal front, I feel um, um, it has been very, very satisfying giving it back to the organization and what the organization has made me today.
That's truly good, sir. Sir, if you want to share some any message for your, you must be having so many students, juniors. If you want to give a one nice message to them.
Message, I'm all I can say is that passion in your work, sincerity, dedication, honesty always gets you rewards. And if you really are put in your might, you put in and you decide that we have to do something well, and you go ahead and put in your heart and soul into it. I don't think. I remember. I must say this to you that many years ago, about 15, 20 years ago, I was a young pediatric surgeon here in the hospital. There were multiple specialities and very glamorous specialities, and who would steal the glamour in any conference or any meeting. And I would wonder that as a young pediatric surgeon, uh, am I being noticed? But let me tell you, 20 years later, that hard work always shows in some way or the other. Um, Nobody is blinded. People who sit on these chairs of authority or power, they are also looking at people and look at people who have some metal. And I therefore, the message which I say to my youngsters always is, um, just carry on regardless. Don't look at the results. Work hard. Rest, everything will flow.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. God bless.